Welcome once again. We bless the Lord that you allow us into your space. My name is Patricia Lukoma Mpango, and it is the 14th of June 2024. Now, into the bulletin, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has signed 4 bills into law. The President assented to the bills today, Friday, 14th June 2024. The bills signed into law include the Free Zone Amendment Act 2024, the Uganda Wildlife Amendment Act 2024, the National Library Amendment Act 2024, and the Uganda National Meteorological Authority Amendment Act 2024. The 4 bills were recently passed by the Parliament of Uganda and were awaiting President Museveni's assent. Now, President Museveni has met with a group of officials from the Uganda Manufacturers Association at State House Entebbe. During the meeting, the president informed the group that they must forge ways of revitalizing the country's textile industry as a key driver for the economic growth. President Museveni emphasized the importance of protecting and developing the local textile industry. President Museveni called for additional measures, including specific duties based on the weight of textile imports to strengthen the sector. Dio Kayemba, UMA Board Chairman, Uganda Manufacturers Association Board Chairman, thanked the President Museveni for his continued support for local manufacturing. Now, addressing specific duties on textile imports, Mr. Kayemba pointed out that only 47 out of the 500 tariff lines attract specific duties, a policy designed to enhance value addition to local cotton. The Uganda Manufacturers Authority boss, association's boss, also expressed confidence that with government support, the manufacturing sector, particularly textile, can be a cornerstone of this growth. UMA has already established a working framework with the Ministry of Trade and Economic Development to implement these strategies. The meeting also touched on challenges faced by the textile sector, including a recent strike by Kampala City Traders Association, which raised concerns about the variety of locally produced textiles and the impact of specific duties. On the other hand, following events surrounding the trade sector strike, he said that UMA supports the introduction of electronic fiscal receipting and invoicing system, saying that it is a key tax collection solution. Now, a scuffle ensued at the anti-corruption court between the law enforcement and relatives plus supporters of Busiki constituency. Member of Parliament Paul Akamba, as he was rearrested by security operatives after being granted bail by court. Paul Akamba was in the morning granted bail of 13 million shillings. Chief Magistrate Joan Achiro and his sureties on non-cash bail. The sureties are on non-cash bail of 100 million each. Member of Parliament of Busiki constituency, Paul Akamba, was arrested by security operatives. Now, however, court declined to release members of Parliament Sisi Namujo and Yusuf Mutemboli on bail for failing to present substantial sureties and to indict their places of abode to court. Prosecution states that on 13th May 2024 at Hotel Africana in Kampala, the 3 legislators solicited from the chairperson of UHRC, Mariam Wangadia, an undue advantage of 20% in order to increase the Commission's budget. Ramadan Gobi, the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, has assured citizens that Uganda's debt is sustainable and that there are no cause to worry. There's no cause to worry, and this we will hear more in this report.
Uganda's budget for the financial year 2024 to 25 continues to draw mixed reactions from a cross-section of the public. The Absa Bank Uganda post-budget dialogue offered a glimpse on the implications of the national budget on the private sector.
From us, the private sector, again, we would like to see execution of projects better and faster. Potholed Kampala, leads to lots of traffic. And for us, time is money.
If you look at the proportion of money that has been skewed towards capital expenditure, investment in roads, investment in infrastructure, it shows you that the spend is being directed in areas that are going to stimulate growth. So for us, we receive it as a positive development.
One of the major issues that attracted debate is the rising debt burden and its consequences to the economy.
We are among the best as far as debt management is concerned. Please, our debt to GDP ratio as at the end of this month is projected at 47.9%. Okay? And I don't know where you get your own numbers.
Despite his assurance on economic resilience, those in attendance sounded alarm. John Walugembe is the Executive Director, Federation of the Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises.
We are not there yet, but we are on the road there. And what we are saying is that we need to take precaution. We don't need to wait to go into debt distress. We need to not to wait to default for us to say, oh, we need to do something. I think we already now need to put safeguards into place to minimize the expenditure.
Government's move to borrow from local commercial banks and increment of taxes levied on fuel attracted varying views.
What the government aspirations have to increase domestic borrowing, it's just another vehicle, another instrument that they can use to manage the fiscal policy. Does not necessarily mean that they'll spend all that money. I think one of the things that we are positive or confident about, if you look at all the macros are strong.
Stand their mindfulness on the crowd effect, but the issue is when they continue to do that, these banks will never lend to the business community lower than those rates.
The issue of taxes, overall, the tax measures that were introduced are moderate, 100 shillings on petrol, 100 shillings on diesel. These kinds of indirect taxes do not, businesses can factor them in as they plan for their businesses. So for us, that is something that we are happy to pay. But what we're asking for also at the same time is value for money.
Marion Awori for UBC.
Now, Minister of State for National Guidance, Godfrey Kabyang, has hinted on strategic areas where the budget focused on expanding Uganda's tax base. Minister Kabyanga says the prioritization of transport, infrastructure, services, agro-industry and energy intend to facilitate increased productivity of small and medium-sized enterprises.
Some of the programs that 2024-2025 national budget have prioritized to boost local productivity include agro-industrialization. Minister of State for National Guidance, Godfrey Kabyanga, believes some investments intend to facilitate local economic interests.
So, sincerely, we need to be ready now that people are going to produce. We shall need value addition, and therefore we need to put money in agro-industrialization. And then after that, we also need to market whatever we have added value to, both internally and externally.
Transport infrastructure and services allocation of 5.1 trillion shillings and 1 trillion shillings for energy are expected to enhance value addition and bolster already running programs of PDM and Emyoga, among others.
When the minister puts more money in energy, generation, distribution and transmission, I'm happy because I know that probably that will make the tariff eventually go down, and then our factories can produce competitively.
Minister Kabyanga highlighted on other specific budget appropriation intended to expand the country's tax base. These will provide muscle to subsistence class of people into money economy.
But nearly 70% of the population is young. So we must put money into education so that they acquire skills. And that one I'm also very happy with.
In the budget, government projected local collection of 32.3 trillion shillings to finance the budget. Minister Kabyanga believes there are established mechanisms to ensure effective tax collection through established one-stop centers.
Just reach the one-stop center and you do all your business there. If you want to register your business, your BS is there. If you want, when you are registering business, they need a TIN, URA is on the desk. What? Next desk. If they say go and bank money, the bank or the agent of the bank is on the another desk, so that you complete your transaction in one place.
The ministry commits to collaborate with other government agencies to sensitize and guide the public on tax collection and management.
What we are going to do now, we, for instance, in national guidance, because that is part of our work, to guide the people. We shall work closely with the Uganda Revenue Authority and then educate people on, first of all, to appreciate the tax. Secondly, they are all as citizens.
Other means of support from the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance rely on internet coverage to ensure established digital tax management is effective.
Now we are going to put up internet infrastructure because we now have money to expand the national backbone, and we have money to take internet to every parish. So all those are things we are putting in place so that business can be easy.
By the look of the entire 72.1 trillion shillings national budget of 2024-2025, Ugandans are heading into hustling times to finance the economy. This will require enrollment of the huge number of players in the informal sector into the tax bracket in order to minimize the burden of those already burdened. Abdul Nasser Lobwama and Lydia Chomkama for UBC.
Well, thank you very much there, Abdul Nasir Lubwama. Now into farm matters, the Office of the Prime Minister has donated an assortment of over 10,000 farms items and building materials to Bunyoro sub-region. The items were delivered by State Minister for Bunyoro Affairs, Jennifer Namuyango, who represented the Prime Minister, Right Honorable Robina Nabanja.
An assortment of over 10,000 farm items, including hand hose from the Office of the Prime Minister, have been distributed to farmers in the 8 districts of Kakumiro, Chibale, Kagadi, Chikube, Chiriandongo, Masindi, Hoima, and Bulisa.
The other items that you give to us, we want to thank you very much for that.
The items were delivered by the Minister for Bunyoro Affairs, Jennifer Namuyangu, who represented the Prime Minister in Kakumiro district.
So the Prime Minister, I hand over this hose, the 1,200 to Kakumiro district and the 10,000 to the entire Bunyoro.
Similarly, over 1,000 iron sheets were also donated to government-aided secondary schools, including St. Edward Bukumi SS and Kakumiro district headquarters.
I have also got a request for Nalweyo Secondary School. We are going to support them. And other schools, one at least to reach every constituency.
The head teacher of St. Edward Bukumi SS, John Fisher, while leading Minister Namuyangu to a guided tour of the school projects, thanked the Office of the Prime Minister for the donation.
We received 200 iron sheets to help us cater for the dilapidated roofs of staff quarters. But those were just a drop of water in an ocean. When you look at our staff quarters there, most of the buildings still have even asbestos, which are discouraged. But we are happy that government has responded positively.
St. Edward's Bukumi SS is one of the schools in Bunyoro that nurtured key personalities including Prime Minister Robinah Nabbanja, Finance Minister Matia Kasaija, among others.
Now into the judiciary, with the need to expedite a dispensation of justice to litigants and also address the challenge of case backlog and other challenges faced by the judiciary, permanent secretaries and judicial administrators from Southern and East African countries have held a meeting under their umbrella SIAJA. And the meeting held at the Judiciary headquarters in Kampala is aimed at sharing ideas, a benchmark from member countries on how justice can be delivered and to improve on service delivery. The association was established in 2017. Let's hear more in this report.
Countries under the Southern and East African Judicial Administrators Association, SIJAO, the umbrella body for permanent secretaries, executive directors, accounting officers and chief registrars in the respective countries, have met at the judicial headquarters in Kampala. The meeting was attended by members from Uganda, Tanzania, Namibia, Malawi, Zambia, Zimbabwe and Mozambique, among other member states.
Because if you gain some experiences from partner states, you actually save costs and you improve the service quality. You heard him speaking about the backlogs, the dues and so on. And in Tanzania it's the case that we had, like 2015, the backlog was around 15%. In 2021 it came to 10%. In 2023 December it was 5%. And in April 2024 is 3% the backlog.
Professor Elisante Gabdera, Permanent Secretary to Tanzanian Judiciary, who is also the association chairperson, says a lot has been achieved in sharing ideas in regards to dispensing justice to the people in the respective country.
I wish also to mention that Tanzania is equally going very fast and accurately in the ICT development and looking forward and our best. We can even use now the artificial intelligence in judiciary. We look forward to make sure that this organization will keep on growing. In case Uganda wants to keep moving in some of the other platforms of ICT application, they can now borrow from Namibia, they can borrow from Botswana, from Malawi and elsewhere.
The members, however, commended the government of Uganda for the enabling environment, which has enabled the meeting.
Na Mheshimiwa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Uganda, Mheshimiwa Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, kwa kazi kubwa wanayoifanya pia kwa kuendeleza masuala ya mahakama.
Permanent Secretary to the Judiciary, Dr. Pius Bigirimana, is optimistic of the meeting outcome.
There are many cases which are locked up in case backlogs, and some of these cases are affecting the economy, cases related to banking, cases related to construction. But most important is to see the transformation that is taking place in our judiciaries. And as you say, no reinventing the wheel. If Tanzania is now doing artificial intelligence, why don't we learn from you?
At the close of this one-day meeting was the launch of the website where member states will easily share ideas on how to dispense justice to litigants and improve service delivery.
By 2040, and what we are looking there is that we are dreaming to make sure that at the end of the day, the members of SIJA will be well integrated, interconnected, sharing the same ambition of having a destination of doing right things rightly.
The meeting of permanent secretaries, accounting officers and chief registrars comes at a time when Uganda waits to host the Southern and East African Chief Justices Conference, scheduled for 30th September 2024. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
Now, government has been urged to consider investing in the local aviation industry if the country is to tap more into the industry. This was during the first graduation ceremony of Ocean Heights Aviation Training School in Entebbe at an event attended by the Minister for Works and Transport, General Katumba Wamala, Mary Mugasa, Minister of State for Public Service, and Minister of State for Youth and Children's Affairs, Balama Barugahara.
Initially, Okello sought redress through the High Court Division.
Ocean Heights Aviation Training School has held its pioneer graduation this Friday. The graduation ceremony was held at Kajanzi Aviation School in Entebbe, and in attendance were Minister for Works and Transport, General Katumba Wamala, Minister State for Public Service, Mary Mugasa, and Dr. Balama Barugahara Atenyi, Minister State for Youth and Children Affairs.
It boosts our transport in terms of time. If we use a plane, it takes fewer minutes or fewer hours to reach your destination. I want to encourage also tourists to use these planes because I can see our people are very well trained and they are encouraging safety. So I want to congratulate the Civil Aviation School and all the graduates, now they are graduates, who have excelled in their studies.
And the trend of tourism, as well as we position Uganda as a tourism destination for high-end, high spenders, these are people who would want to travel in comfort, faster, easier, and that requires that they fly.
The over 60 graduates are in the fields of private pilot license, commercial pilots, airline and transport pilot licenses.
That is what I would actually want to do, because very many people think it's only the men that are supposed to be pilots or dispatchers, so it would be good if all the women joined.
It is a passion for me. First of all, it was more like a dream, that just how you can see a kid, has a dream, sees a plane flying in the sky.
It's an course, but it is a course where you have to invest in if you are to train somebody successful.
Ocean Heights Aviation Training School is putting more emphasis on the girl child.
With me running it, I would like to encourage more young girls to look at me as their motivation that the young ladies can also do it.
We are pushing so hard for girl child to join aviation. Aviation as a company has always been known for gentlemen.
Personally, in Air Force, we are still struggling. We are few. But when you have institutions like Ocean Heights here, building capacity, for us it makes us proud that most Ugandans are now embracing the aviation industry.
However, experts urge that more must be put in place, especially by the central government.
But what we would want the government to do for us in the industry is to invest more, train more, other than bringing in people from outside. Those are the people who take the jobs. I am here, I am trained, but you're bringing somebody else from outside to fly in the airline, to fly in these other companies, and yet you can actually build us through a little training here and there, and we are good to go. 90% of Uganda Airlines is from Soroti Flying School. The government invested in them, trained them a little bit, and that's what they are. So imagine if we can do more for many people.
With the involvement of Uganda Airlines and other local aviation providers, sector players are optimistic.
Uganda Airlines right now, they are struggling to get personnel. The UN is here. The president saw from far and gave them a place at Entebbe Airport there. So the aviation is still virgin.
It is projected that Uganda's aviation industry is likely to open up, hence such experts can play a pivotal role in the country's development. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Now, the director for the Presidential Initiative on Skilling the Girl Child and the Boy Child, Faith Katana, has challenged university graduates to embrace hands-on skills in order to overcome the challenge of unemployment in the country.
today's world where unemployment is still a big challenge, especially in poor countries like Uganda, having a practical skill that can enable one earn a living is very critical. It is against this backdrop that the presidential initiative on skilling the girl and boy child was started under State House in 2017 to help especially young people who did not complete or go through formal education. The presidential initiative on skilling the girl and boy child now has 9 training centers around Kampala. The purpose was to skill young people between the ages of 17 to 35 for them to have employable skills.
So far we see a transformation among the youth. Those who were murderers, those who were prostitutes, those that were on the streets, those that dropped out and maybe they found that really the world had completely, they are forgotten. We see them coming to life. We see them having identification. As you know, to really have, to belong is a very, very important thing. So we find it has trained them to discover themselves, who they are. They see their potential. Some cannot believe the work they do, and it has changed their lives. And if you note, you'll find that actually crime is decreasing in Kampala, because one of the main objectives is to curb also crime in the Kampala district. So this is what the president started, and we are so thankful. One, they do not pay anything like money.
The director for Presidential Initiative on Skilling the Girl and Boy Child, Dr. Faith Katana, has also challenged university graduates to embrace hands-on skills in order to overcome the challenge of unemployment.
Are already making money. So I think we need to change our mindset. Yes, certificates are good. Yes, go to the universities, but everyone must have a skill. Today it is a skill that is needed. So I encourage parents. I encourage politicians, more especially politicians. Do not go there to lie to these people just because you are opposing something. This is for the well-being and the livelihood of these young people. Do not deny them this golden opportunity.
These young people at Rosita Center have acquired different skills that include baking, shoemaking, and hairdressing. This center has 700 students coming from Nakawa division.
Half crochet. Kubanga omuntu customer bwabanga zenga tayagala yona geri crochet asobola okumukolerako half na crochet nga kuside. Eno ya beads tuita beading. Tubidinga ne tukolamo obugato obulungi tusobola okufana obubaga bwa beads ngeyo nga bwe mugirabye engato.
Local leaders have encouraged these young people to put to good use the skills they have acquired.
Thank you for attending this, because not everyone has this opportunity. There are those who are out there want this opportunity, but they can't. Those other schools are there, but they are very far from them. You who is here, at least implement and create a job for her. Or if not, you're able to teach her. Yes, teach her also.
You are skilled not to remain here, but to go out and serve the nation. If you leave your talent here, then in 2 years or 3 years, our nation will be in poverty. But if you put the skill you have got into action and used, trust me, nobody will ever be poor in our land. Nobody, I tell you.
The presidential initiative on skilling the girl and boy child is part of a wider perspective for the country to have skilled human resource for job creation and employment.
Now, Surrey-based lawyer Joshua Okello has intensified his campaign to contest the sanctions imposed on the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Mong, by the United Kingdom. First, with the High Court Civil Division in Kampala's delay and in scheduling his case, Okello has taken his grievance to the European Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg, France.
Initially, Okello sought redress through the High Court Division in Kampala, challenging the disciplinary measures levied against Speaker Anita Among by the United Kingdom.
When I filed the case there, the next stage that court was supposed to take was to fix a hearing, because usually when a civil matter is being filed, the first procedure, of course, is filing your complaint or your suit rather. Then the next procedure is the hearing date to be fixed. But to my surprise, when I did that, no hearing date was being fixed.
Despite his persistent efforts, the case encountered constant deferrals, compelling him to seek recourse in international legal platforms.
I kept on making inquiries. I kept on contacting the judicial officers at High Court Civil Division Kampala, asking them or telling them to give me the current status quo of that particular case. But unfortunately, goalposts were kept on being changed, whereby I looked at these as something that I cannot really, something that I cannot wait, despite the fact that the situation had run out of hand.
This strategic pivot to engage the European Court of Human Rights marks a significant shift in Okello's legal approach, utilizing global human rights doctrines to counter what it deems an infringement by foreign entities.
As the Speaker of Parliament of Uganda, she's meant to chair meetings there, she's meant to chair debates, even the bills that are being enacted in the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, she's the one who's meant to spearhead. So if you're to look at a situation whereby she's stressed psychologically, she's having a psychological distress, so at the end of the day, she will eventually not manage to chair all those meetings or to pass any law which favors the Ugandans at large.
Among, who has been fascinated by these sanctions, finds her rights and the sovereignty of her nation at stake. Okello contends that the sanctions are not only unjust, but also detrimental.
I was against the sanctions that were imposed on her by the United Kingdom government, because when I analyzed everything, it appeared to be something illegal. It appeared to be a matter that was taken on a personal basis, despite the fact that Honorable Anita Among was against the homosexuality, which is being promoted by most of the European countries, as we are very well aware of that.
The UK imposed sanctions on Speaker Anita Among over corruption allegations have ignited a firestorm of controversy and sparked discussions both within Uganda and on the global stage. Marion Awori and Joseph Okow for UBC.
Uganda is likely to face the worst calamities of weather patterns if public does not comply with environmental conservation and restoration. Dr. Akankwasa Barirega is the Executive Director of the National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, and he says a huge swamp cover and over 40% of the forest cover that would deter impacts of climate change have already been depleted.
And our objective is to ensure that every wetland standing now is conserved and protected at all costs.
About 41% of Uganda's total forest cover has been lost to logging, charcoal burning, settlement and agriculture as of 2021.
So forestry is being lost at a rate 3 times less than the wetlands.
Several square miles of wetlands and water catchment areas have also been degraded beyond recovery, with the Eastern region topping the list, followed by Central region.
Overall in the region, Eastern still leads the pressure on wetlands, but in terms of the rate of degradation and conversion, urban areas are the ones that are highly affected because of urbanization.
Following an impact assessment in 2002, government recommended cancellation of titles issued in Ira in wetlands and other gazette areas through the Ministry of Lands, although the target was to have at least 20,000 titles cancelled. As of 2023, 22 years later, only 3,000 titles had been cancelled. The process was delayed by litigations from some affected persons.
Every time you announce a title for cancellation, people run it to court. And when they run it to court, it slows down the process, but the process is still on.
Because of several lawsuits, the Office of the Attorney General guided that only land titles issued before 1998 be considered valid and owners exempted from cancellation or compensated upon cancellation. Those issued after 1998 be considered invalid and liable for cancellation without compensation.
Even if the title is yours, how you use the land must be regulated by government. So that's the position we are at now.
In another move to reduce pressure on wetlands and control impacts of degradation, government in September 2021 halted the licensing of any developments in wetlands.
No new development will be allowed in a wetland. So government has already made a decision to protect all the remaining wetlands.
Accordingly, with all efforts to save and protect the environment, several institutional and policy reforms were enacted for sustainability.
So we've done reforms on the legal front to make sure we have all policies and laws. We've not ended there, we've gone to institutional reforms.
Nonetheless, because of population pressure and industrialization, about 50% of the wetland cover around Kampala Metropolitan has been degraded beyond recovery.
Are we going to recover wetland at Garden City? It is not possible. That's a converted area. Chadondo Rugby Club, although that place was a wetland, but it is converted. And it was converted a long time ago. It is not easy to bring it back, so it would be wasted effort.
These include Nachivubo, Banda Wetland, Chambogo, Namave Wetland, which is now a hub for industrialization.
You have to agree that it is gone. We only recover those which are remaining, like Rubiji. Our focus is really to save what is still remaining.
Through partnership with the National Forest Authority, the National Environment Authority and other protection agencies have embarked on the restoration initiative.
Even if it was your forest, with this loss of forest cover from 48% to now 9%, which government would allow you to actually take over such a forest reserve and cut it down for sugarcane plantation?
The Restoration Partnership puts focus on swamps and depleted national forests through tree planting across the country.
NFA, working with us and other stakeholders, is restoring Mabira.
Similarly, the 2018 amendment on the total ban of production and usage of polythene bags below 30 microns had also been intended to address environmental degradation. The amendment, however, faced resistance due to conflict of interest.
The conflict interest makes many wonder whether we are not thinking about the future of our lives, but the quick gains, the politics of gaining revenue.
Calamities like landslides, floods, mudslides, drought and rising water levels arise from variation in weather patterns due to human activities on the environment.
You've seen Bududa, you've seen Mbale, you've seen Kasese, we've seen these landslides. These are at a very small scale compared to what is happening elsewhere. So we cannot just thump ourselves and say we have one in nature. Not at all.
Wetlands act as water catchment areas that reduce runoff, control erosion, act as habitats for aquatic life, and failure to manage them may lead to irreversible climate issues. Susan Naonga, reporting for UBC TV.
The Uganda National Oil Company, UNOC, is wholly owned by the government of Uganda and was established to safeguard and promote Uganda's commercial interests in the petroleum sector. UNOC has two subsidiaries, the Uganda Refinery Holding Company, URHC, which will hold a 40% stake in the 60,000 barrel per day refinery and manage the development of Kabalega Industrial Park, and the National Pipeline Company Limited, NPC, in charge of pipelines, storage, and downstream business ventures. This subsidiary holds 15% interest in the East African Crude Oil Pipeline, ECOP. ECOP is a 1,445-kilometer long pipeline that will transport crude oil through 10 districts in Uganda to the port of Tanga in Tanzania. UNOC is also actively engaged in crude oil exploration, development, and production activities, and its participation role includes a 15% stake in the Tilenga, Nwoya, and Bulisa, and Kingfisher development projects, Chikure. UNOC also holds the exploration license for Kasuruban Block in Hoima, Bulisa, and Masindi. UNOC currently owns and manages the Ginger Storage Terminal and will build a 320 million litre capacity terminal in MPG called the Kampala Storage Terminal. At UNOC, we're harnessing the potential of Uganda's petroleum resources, forging a sustainable future and preserving the natural beauty of Uganda. UNOC, your partner in Uganda's oil and gas industry.
Amanya gange nze Namutebi Sharon nga nkolera wano wennyini Saka Kirombe oba Makindye. Empangula gye nawanguddemu ssente mbadde nga nkozesa mobile money nga nsindika school fees w'omwana ku ssomero. Okutegeera nti mpangudde nze mutima neegambye nti kambalinde bamale okujja ndyoke nzikirize nti mpangudde. Kyenyinza okubagamba nti si byabafere weewaawo abafere gye bali naye ennamba eri emu yokka era bw'eba ekukubidde omanya eyo si yabafere. Mpulira bulungi nnyo era ndi musanyufu nnyo. Naye MTN mobile money mbebaza nnyo mwebale nnyo mwebalire.
Together we're unstoppable.
Once upon a time, there lived identical twins who gave birth to beautiful princes and princesses.
Their mothers gave their babies' bodies a lot of care by applying on their skin with baby Junior jelly.
Though dried their chariots and everyone would admire their glowing skin. Fun fact, baby Junior prevents diaper rash, dry and sensitive skin.
Moms all over Africa love baby Junior jelly. Baby Junior's the skin. No more worries anymore. Baby Junior.
Baby Junior.
Hey, business people of Uganda, the Ugandan National Lottery is coming. It's the perfect opportunity to boost your business. Zimba your business by becoming an authorized Uganda National Lottery agent. By paying a security deposit of just 250,000 shillings, you will receive your very own Uganda National Lottery terminal, expert training from the pros themselves, and marketing materials to skyrocket your sales. And with a generous 5% commission on every ticket sold, the potential for earnings is limitless. Don't miss out. Act now and call us toll-free at 0800 33 44 33 to see if you qualify. Join us today and Zimba your business. Ituba Uganda is regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Welcome back. I'm glad you're still tuned onto the only channel that tends to inspire and educate you. Now, as we move into the world of business, Uganda's electricity subsector has registered a major milestone in 2024. This follows the connection of over 100,000 new customers on the power grid, thus taking the number of customers currently connected on the national grid to a total of 2 million.
In the months of March and May 2024, Umeme registered the highest number of new connections in the country. According to Peter Kauju, Head of Marketing Communications at Umeme, this development is a major milestone in the electricity subsector.
The people that we brought to the national grid, the number was huge. It had never happened in the sector. And so as of now, we have been able to connect about 100, actually over 100,000 people year to date from January up to end of May.
According to Umeme, there is a lot of growth in terms of power demand. It therefore necessitates strategic investment in the sector to boost access to reliable electricity and also enhance the overall quality of service.
We have crossed the 2 million mark of customers on the national grid, which is a good thing. It means electricity is at the center of almost everything. When you look at what people are doing, almost everybody needs power to produce something. Everybody needs power to deliver something. So there's a lot of growth in terms of the demand for electricity, which is actually running somewhere close to 10%. And what this means is that there's a lot of development that is taking place. And it means that we also need to plan ahead, both for investment in generation, transmission, and distribution. Otherwise, you don't want to, reach a point and demand has outpaced, supply. Then you run into trouble. Then we'll be talking about load shedding. But we're happy that a lot is happening. The transmission indicated that our peak demand as of 2023 was about 919 megawatts.
It's worth noting that Umeme's 20-year concession comes to an end in 2025. However, the leading utility company vows to not switch off, but commits to focus on reliability, sustainability, and innovation.
The infrastructure is there. Yes. When you move in all directions of the country, you see electricity lines, you see electricity poles. There are no robots, that are going to run this infrastructure. It will be run, it will be run by human beings. It will be run by skilled Ugandans that we have. And so we are not worried about the concession coming to an end. First of all, even before taking on these roles, we knew that it was a concession, it was a project of 20 years, and so there are commitments that we have to deliver. So we are running with those commitments up to the end as per the contract.
Electricity, a key factor for production for farms, is important to Uganda's socio and economic agenda. It is a key driver for socio-economic transformation and a backbone of modern economies. Maureen Babidie, Dennis Sigoa for UBC News.
Still in business, teachers of IT at Viva College School, Ginger, have invented a digital application that will be used to manage election processes in schools. This app that regulates anomalies was named Viva College Decides 2024 and is going to be used to capture the students' data during their voting exercise. The app was tested and found efficient and flexible during the recently concluded Viva Decides Elections 2024. The students commended the school administration for this great innovation. The innovation was led by Maurice Echeng, an IT guru at Viva College.
Effective elections that will enable free and fair election. The app is called Viva College Decide 2024. This app basically, it enables students to vote within a few minutes. For example, we had 1,000 students plus, but we managed to vote within only 1 hour. And as one of the future of this app is learners are in position to enter in their voters' identification number and their streams plus their house allocation. In that, a learner is only supposed to vote once. If a learner tries to vote multiple times, the app rejects their vote for the second time.
We are here to manifest that technology is the way to go, and if we must embrace technology, we should have embraced it yesterday.
Reflection of the complaint about a note, but I feel like with this system, it's actually better. And the previous years, we used to vote on papers normally, and I think the tallying would take a while, about 2 days or 3 days before you know the actual results. But as per now, this has actually been a very big success.
My experience in this is that it was very easy. The process wasn't very long. It was very interesting.
So I don't want to accept it.
stay fresh. You wanna compete, shall it be my girl? Lighting. I can make a lighting up.
What's happening up there?
I've had this cough for more than 2 weeks. I sweat a lot.
Did you get a checkup?
Just cough.
You can easily beat TB.
Don't you see the economy?
Yes, anyone can get TB, but the good news is you can live a TB-free life. If you've been coughing for 2 weeks or more, have lost appetite and weight, sweat a lot at night, you could have TB. Visit a health center near you for TB testing and more information on how to prevent and manage it.
How have you gone?
From the doctor come for your car.
Obulemu, brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from USAID.
Welcome. Time for sports now. Uganda Olympic Committee's Sports for Social Development has hosted a festival and attracted more than 200 pupils at Kibuli Police Children's School.
With 42 days to the Paris 2024 Olympics, momentum in Uganda is building. This has been evidenced at Kibuli Police Children's School during the occasion to celebrate 40 days to the Games with emphasis on the Olympic values.
As part of the build-up, we have been having a number of activities to celebrate and create awareness. So this has been one of them where we are engaging here at the Kibuli Police Primary School, engaging with over 2,000 students to, one, promote Olympism, the values of Olympism, of friendship, respect and excellence, but also create awareness of what's going to be happening with Team Uganda. So this is part of a series of activities.
The event on the theme of United Initiative, Sharing the Experience, was organized by Uganda Olympic Committee's Sports for Social Development Commission.
It serves the purpose of motivating them. You know, they need to understand why these activities take place, and also they learn that if they put effort and concentrate, they can get somewhere. And then in the sharing, you get the feeling of what other people also are going to be getting from Paris, because there will be a large community from all over the world.
On top of education about the Olympic values, the learners were tutored on sports disciplines like fencing, taekwondo, football, and modern pentathlon.
Now, the Federation of Uganda Football Association has launched the second edition of the FUFA TV Cup. Let's hear more from John Barnes Sentema.
The FUFA TV Cup maiden final.
The FUFA TV Cup, that is a preserve for senior secondary schools, has witnessed an exponential growth from 8 teams in the first edition to 65 in the second. This has been confirmed during the launch of the second edition at the Federation's head office in Mengo.
You identify talent, you have to put it to practice so that you can develop it further. Now, the only way we can develop talent is for us to have competitions. And when the FUFA TV Cup comes in, it's one of those ways that we can use for us to be able to develop our talent. So it is a very welcome idea. And we want to thank the Uganda Secondary Schools Sports Association for the initiatives they have taken to ensure that secondary schools play football.
Already 63 schools have qualified to the round of 64, with the final team to be either Nganwa High School of Shema or St. Kagwa High School Bushenyi. The two play their qualifier this Sunday, with Nganwa High School hosting the first leg. The FUFA TV Cup round of 64, 32 and 16 will be played on home and away basis. The tournament has been clustered into 12 chapters to enable movement of teams according to their geographical location in the early rounds.
First of all, I want you to appreciate that this is not a competition for winning. It's more about redeveloping the school sport and football than what you take home after the games are finished. But apart from the medals and the trophies, we give out school items for the winner worth 3 million and for the runner-up 2 million.
The top-ranked 8 schools will converge at the Fufa Technical Center in Jeru for the national tournament starting 28th August till 15th September 2024. St. Mary's College Chisubi is the defending champion, having defeated Chira College Butiki 2-1 in last year's final.
They've launched that into the deep and now they celebrate with a beautiful trophy. Full time it is, Chira College Butiki 1, SMAC 2 and SMAC are the champions of the FUFA TV Cup maiden edition.
Now that's all we had time for at 8. Let's meet again at 10 o'clock. My name is Patricia Lukoma Mpango. Stay tuned.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Cheers to something refreshingly different. Putting the brakes on a fast-paced world. Slowing down. Just enough to stand out. Cheers to the beer that does it differently. Brewed longer for extra refreshment. Refreshingly Club. Alcohol is not for sale to persons under 18. Please drink responsibly.